Peoples of the universe, please attend carefully. The message that follows is vital to the future of you all.
And that first message can only be that another week has gone by, and I took a week off from Video War. Another week has gone by, and I haven't made a proper introduction for it yet. So, I apologize. I still haven't got to it. But you know what I have got to? I got to some wonderful movies. And we watched a particularly good movie this week. The movie we watched is, let me just bring it up. Ta-da! Arnold Schwarzenegger's 92. I think it's 92. I will say, just tour de force. Absolutely insane amount of fun movie. True Lies. Arnold Schwarzenegger and James Cameron. Really, I think effortlessly at the top of the game. And it's also, I forgot, but it's a very, very sweet movie as well. It's a very sweet little loving movie with all this insane wild action going on. So yeah, I absolutely adored it. I do not know what the panel thinks. I hope they're going to be positive. I don't know. You know what? I just said I hope they're going to be positive. I actually kind of like it when they're not sometimes. I think we're getting a more interesting show. Fine, so let's bring people on. We'll start at the end. We'll start with Ninja Knight. Ninja Knight is joining us. I should have come up with a snappy introduction, but I clicked it. My finger twitched and I clicked you on. Before I could think of something. How you doing, Ninja?
That's no problem at all. I'd like to introduce myself anyway, as is, and you've presented the best first, and I love that. What better can we have?
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, listen, it's all downhill from here, mate. It's all downhill. Well,
all downhill. All downhill.
I wouldn't say that. We have many other people in the chat. We have another one turning up soon, I think. Who do we have next? We have this movie. I think is James Cameron's Geek Fest. It's him geeking out on stuff he loved and movies he loved when he was a kid, and I think he had a real true geek. So I think to appreciate it, we need somebody who is a bit of a geek. Somebody who's a bit of a geek. But you know what? I was going to get a bit of a minor geek, a geek minor. Then I thought, no. You know what? I think we need a bigger geek now. I think we need a very big geek. What's the biggest geek we can think of? It is, of course, the mega geek. Mega geek, how are you?
I'm all right. It's getting worse, Rabbi. It's getting worse.
The fly, mate. Although, I am intrigued to hear your take on this movie, because you are no stranger to the action movie genre yourself, are you?
Yeah, I love action movies. That's just
so. I did find this one a really fun little fusion. But let's see who else we have on the panel. As you know, I am a man of the cloth, and. I've met men of the cloth. We are few and far between. So if you ever see two of them together, especially different cloths, it's a sight to behold. And you know what? I would recommend, if you do see two of them together, you should hit that subscribe button straight away. Hit the subscribe button, both on this channel, and go over to his channel. The Nerd Father himself, Father Miller. How are you?
Doing pretty good. I say, we got 2 inches of snow yesterday.
Oh, really? See, for me, that's not very good. I'm never happy when I get 2 inches of snow. Yeah, it's snow in my mind is far more trouble than it's worth. Snow is I like to look at it on a picture. In real life, not so much. It's
God's dandruff. That's what it is.
No, my dandruff is far worse. It's I wish my dandruff was as magical as my dandruff is not magical. Although we do have somebody in the panel. I would say somewhat magical. Although I don't think he realizes his true magic. So he's in a state of he's in a problematic state. I would say he's in a problematic state. It is, of course, the one, the only, the inevitable Problem Being. How are you doing, sir?
Good evening. I'm very well, and I totally agree with you about snow there, Rabbi. It's pretty to look at, but
pretty to look at. Yeah,
away from me.
To prove that point, pretty to look at, not so much fun to deal with. To prove that point, what a job I used to have is I used to be on the Jewish divorce court in Miami. We used to do on a good week we would do 4 divorces. On a bad week we'll do 9. Or you want to turn it around, it could be the other way. But the sign that happened every time, which is incredible. Whenever it was a really incredibly beautiful woman, she was always crying, and the guy who was always dumpy was always like ecstatic. He was smiling. He was really, really happy. So, it's like, more trouble than it's worth. Pretty to look at, more trouble than it's worth. Not more trouble than it's worth.
There's that hot to crazy ratio, you always have to
there is that,
keep your eye on that one.
They were always really, 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 really upset. So, next person we have on the panel is not so much of a person. It's more of an area. I would say a zone. It's a zone which is big on the inside. It is, of course, Noel from the Tardis zone. How are you, sir?
Hello.
Oh my God.
My arm is at me again, so I'm a bit grumpy. But I'm good.
What are you grumpy about?
Noel's grumpy? What the fuck? Sorry, Noel.
Turn that frown upside down, mate.
You were told what to do about that arm. I told you last week what to do about that arm.
It got better and now it's back again. My wife reckons it's a muscle thing because when I use a certain cream, it goes away. The deep heat. So it's muscle pain. I think it's either hypertension or something. Like I flipped the table a couple of months back. And I think I might have damaged my arm then, but I didn't notice it.
Wait,
what were you doing?
An accident?
WWE in the gaff, was it?
Yeah, I think it was a bit of an accident. I flipped the table in anger when I seen something.
Well, that's not on purpose.
Was it anything to do with Doctor Who, was it?
Are you perhaps like overusing your arm in some way?
No, I know what you're talking about. The wife looked after me, so I don't need to use my
listen.
Poor Father Miller. Look at poor Father Miller.
Family show.
Of your marriage is up to you. Moving swiftly along, I think we need to raise up the conversation. And to raise up the conversation, you have to have somebody you look up to, you aspire to, and that of course is royalty. Royalty is. This a jewel in the crown that you look up to, and we have royalty for you tonight. The wonderful chat. We have royalty, although it's royalty from a bit of a comical province of the empire. It is, of course, Birmingham's King of the Geeks. How are you?
Regional royalty, everybody. Regional royalty. And so I've just had to wipe the tears from my eyes after Noel's story there. That was. Yeah, absolutely brilliant. Oh God, yeah, I've missed you all. It's been a couple of weeks. Everybody okay?
Yeah, it's been a time now. We've had some good interactions on Twitter there, Dan, as well too. It's been
great. Have indeed, bonding over one platform or another. We'll show them all, won't we? We'll show them all how it's done with misery.
Exit Twitter. I just want everybody just leave Twitter.
Well, Twitter really does prove the adage, doesn't it? That misery loves company.
Yes, they do. They do. Speaking of misery loving company, let me say hello to the chat. We have the Facebook here. We have Problem Being, but you're also here as well. Leanne Davis, how you doing? Derek McManus, how are you? Leanne Davis, the voice says hello to you. Charlotte Shills, good afternoon. Good evening.
Hi,
Eastland Burkham. Eastland, I packaged up your prize to send you, along with everybody else's prize. I got to get in touch with Captain Robert April. But everybody, it's a big day here. We got them all packaged up, ready to go. If you're watching in the chat,
that's one of mine. One of them is mine.
Is it? Which one do you win? No, yours already been sent. Your
my God, you even forgotten who's won competitions. Oh my God, Lee won a couple of weeks ago.
Who won? What's that?
It was the steampunky thing.
Yeah.
I still haven't received it yet.
No, that got mailed out about a week ago. That should be.
You know what?
This is my second batch. So Eastland, how you doing? And Rebecca Gold, he's here, he's there, he is everywhere. Rebecca Gold. Fine. This week we delved into a bit of 90s wonderfulness, which I'll pull it up right now. It is, of course, Arnold Schwarzenegger in True Lies, James Cameron, Jamie Lee Curtis, unforgettable Jamie Lee Curtis. I think Jamie Lee Curtis most unforgettable role today. Who was there? A very young Elijah Duxku. I can't remember her name. Bill Patterson and a stunning, absolutely stunning Tia Carrera. I got to get her name right because whenever I say a name, I always say the porn star who has a name that's almost identical. And I'm like, so Tia Carrera, who sounds more porn star, but she looks absolutely fantastic in this movie. And she is in essentially the first scene. So the first scene starts off letting you know exactly what they're planning on doing. James Cameron is saying, I want to do a James Bond movie. I want to do a James Bond movie, but I'm not going to wait for them to ask me to do it. Oh, Saturday 24, how are you doing? I'm not going to wait for them to do ask me to do a James Bond movie. I'm just going to do my own James Bond. And then I have the creative license to do whatever I like with it. So they start off, we have this incredible James Bondy sequence as he infiltrates this very, very posh mansion, right? This very posh mansion with a party going on. Now, because it's not James Bond, he had creative license to put his own guys in. So he's got Tom Arnold and whoever the other guy is. Who's the other guy? No, that's not. Do anybody remember the actor?
Is he the same guy that was in the Rogue One?
He was in a lot of movies. He's done a lot of things back in the 90s.
Right. I bet you're right.
I don't think he is, but he looks very similar.
He looks right. And again, listen, I keep going back to saying, if ever you want to do something creatively and you want to work on a license, make your own thing, because then you can make it breathe and make it your own, which is so much what they did. I love this interaction they had with his support team of Tom Arnold. Tom Arnold, who was so good in this movie, made me forget he's a complete douchebag on Twitter constantly. He was so good in this movie. I forgot about that and I forgave him everything.
What's interesting about him is and this movie in effect is Arnold Schwarzenegger actually went to Cameron with the idea for this movie. And
did he really? I had no idea.
With the moving pieces that were behind, there was a lot of arguments between him and Cameron because Cameron wanted, believe this now, Jodie Foster in the lead as his wife. And he was like, no, I don't think that's going to go down well. And then he disagreed with Jamie Lee Curtis until he seen her down on set. Yeah. But Tom Arnold wasn't originally there either.
Okay, when he seen her in that bedroom saying he changed it.
We're not going to do it. Listen, we're not going to dwell on that for Father Miller. This is not.
Thank you.
Actually, can I just let you know something? It's in relation to Doctor Who. It's not news, but Daniel sent me a response email that he got off the BBC, and I was just wondering if I could read it out just and tell you.
I'm intrigued. Yeah. Oh, Chris, how you doing, Chris?
So he said, thanks for contacting the Director General. As you might appreciate, the BBC Director General receives more correspondence than he can deal with personally. Once correspondence have been read by his office, it is forwarded to us here in the BBC Audience Service Department. So we appreciate that with a long-running series such as this, some people will feel attached to a particular idea.
Oh God, the same bloody thing they trotted out last time.
Well, listen, it's indicative of the imaginative hold that Doctor Who has, that so many people engage with it on so many different levels. Respond on behalf of the BBC management. So, and then they follow up, I think, with we appreciate that with this long-running series such as this, some people will feel attached to a particular idea. They have, I think that he repeated himself there, but then, So hold on. Hold on. Then it's since the Fourth Doctor regenerated back in 1966, the concept of the Doctor as constantly involved in being has been central to the program. The continual input of fresh ideas and new voices across the cast and the writing and production teams have been key to the longevity of the series. We value feedback, and this has been circulated to the program maker. So it's basically we get your email, but we can't be bothered to read it. So we're just going to give it and ignore it. So
the whole thing we appreciate
honestly, wait. Who cares? Who cares? Is it?
But I just want to say that is exactly the verbatim what they said the last time.
Let's just wait and see what happens. Like with many things going on in the world right now, let's just wait and see what happens. Wait and see what happens. And we'll move on. So, because you know what, there's a lot happening here in this movie, which was fantastic. Which is so much better to talk about.
I've forgotten how good this woman was.
Sorry.
Oh my God. Yeah. So we have this fantastic scene in the beginning. Well, Father Miller, is this close enough, or would you rather me move off?
That's good.
That's good.
Like
fine. Again, I
weird how her career kind of stalled, isn't it? After like she was in Wayne's World and then she was in this, and it doesn't seem like she did anything to the heights of Wayne's World after this. Sure, she
got her own TV show, and it's probably the worst thing that could ever happen to her.
It was a huge success, though. It was a success.
Was that the Nikita one? Was it now?
It was called Red Country. It ran for 3 or 4 years, but it was so low rent that it kind of took her career down with her.
That's what happened to her? That's a shame. Because she was fantastic in this. She looked fantastic in it. So you have this incredible tango sequence at the beginning. He's broke. Oh, wait, before we even get there, I do love the way he breaks in. He's in the scuba gear and he like flips out and he's in a tux. I realized that's actually a was it homage to Dr. No?
Goldfinger.
Was it Goldfinger? Oh, right. I knew it was one of the first Bond ones, right?
Yeah.
And again, they nail that perfectly as he walks in and he takes command and says, he pretends he's in charge of the food. This is terrible. Get rid of it. And then he bumps into Tia Carrera, who again I'm so paranoid. I can't even remember the porn star's name now, but I'm so paranoid I'm going to say the wrong one's name by mistake. Bumps into her, and so to deflect there's any attention on it, people looking at him strangely, he then does this incredible tango routine, which is again absolutely fantastic. So all this gives way to eventually they break in, they get the files, incredible escape sequence. So let's talk about the opening 10-15 minutes of the movie. Let's go down the panel and everybody can give their thoughts and opinions. Let's start with you, Ninja Knight.
Yeah, I really liked it, and I have to say, it really does kind of spoof off the sort of Bond-esque type of way of going forward. What's interesting to know about this scene with the tango scene, Schwarzenegger said that this was one of the most difficult things he's ever done his entire career, and he wanted to dance as well as Al Pacino did in Scent of a Woman. So he found that this was some of the most difficult thing that he ever did and trained for this. He became an avid horse rider as well too after this movie. So he put in a lot of work. Given the fact that not a lot of people,
this is where he learned to ride because he's a massive horse rider now.
Yeah. No, this is where he
learned.
This
movie. That's incredible.
Yeah, he actually nearly died on this movie. There was actually an issue where the horse got startled and he fell off and nearly fell down 30 feet. He was only caught down by his stuntman, so he was very, very fortunate. But I think this movie is an interesting movie. But I think a tidbit that most people don't know: this movie actually cost James Cameron Spider-Man because of the production budget on this movie was so high that the companies were just like, no, we're not going to take another gamble on the movie so high. He was actually signed on to play Dr. Octopus versus Leonardo DiCaprio as Spider-Man. And that's
what happened to that version? Wow.
Yeah.
That's incredible. I didn't know any of this stuff.
Yeah, so ultimately though, I really like this movie, and I have to say it really starts off very nicely, and it does set you up then for the remainder of the movie. But like you can see, Tia Carrera there as the villain. She's wonderful in this movie, you know.
Yeah, so freaking good in this. Absolutely, yeah. And again, it's amazing that her career just that show Relic Hunter destroyed her. You know, because she should. I mean, she should have really gone on to be done a whole series of action movies because
she should have been astronomical. You know,
wouldn't she pray like?
I don't think she was that good of an actress, to be honest with you.
Really?
She had a lot of. She wasn't very versatile, but she had a lot of charisma.
Yeah, that's fair. I think
it kind of reminds me of like an Asian. What's her name?
Scarlett Johansson.
No, Diana from V.
Oh, right. What's that actress's name?
Jane Badler.
Jane Badler. I can't believe I forgot that. It was was it that show where they had her and the titles coming out the pool and she stops and she heaves a breath, and that just seared in my memory forever.
I don't remember it, but it sounds fabulous.
I was like, oh my gosh, that's staying there forever. Yeah. So sorry, there. Who was speaking? I can't remember. Let's go. Mega Geek. What's your thoughts on the beginning of the
movie? First of all, I really like this movie. I remember watching it in the cinema, and I remember the audience really getting into it, laughed at every joke, they cheered at every action scene, and at the time it was very new, especially the horse scene and the visual effects that they did with the Harrier jump jet at the ending.
That was groundbreaking.
But a little known fact is it's based on a French film. It was a French film. I don't know what it was called. I think it was called True Lies. Yeah, in French. It's based on a French film. The French version, which I've seen, isn't as spectacular as this. It's more of a comedy drama, more so on a comedy, the French version. And so this film was based on the French version. So when Cameron wrote the script, he basically took the French screenplay and he kind of adapted it to what he wanted to do. And it is true that Cameron wanted to make a Bond movie, couldn't wait. You know what Cameron's like.
Right. I'm really glad he made his own one, his own thing.
Yeah, he's originally a truck driver. You know what truck drivers are like. They're very forceful. So he just, when he got the chance to do Bond, he did it. And he did it in style, didn't he, with Arnie. And Arnie was perfect foil, wasn't he? He was the perfect front man, wasn't he, for this? And he was at the height of his...
Funnily enough, he just worked. I think he really, I wouldn't have thought he would have been great for this, but he really did work as that spy. Because by that time, you so didn't notice his accent or like everything people were concerned about when when he was first starting out. Like it was just he was so ubiquitous in the 80s and the early 90s and just everything. You just didn't notice he was. Whatever.
He was quite lucky because he teamed up with directors that were really talented and knew where to take him as a character within those films. So he's very, very lucky.
Yeah,
you mentioned Tom Arnold. Yeah, Tom Arnold was very funny in this movie, and I really liked him after this film. I heard that he's a bit of an arse in real life, but he was really good in this film. And in fact, Charlton Heston was really good in this film as well. So it's a good movie. Yeah, it's a good movie. First bit's good as well.
Actually, I say it changes as you go through it. Yeah. But for me, I just think that the whole thing just really worked. Father Miller, what's your thoughts on this movie?
It's probably been 10 years since I've seen this film, so I mean, I knew the plot, I remembered how it ended, but I forgot a lot of the story, which made it fun to watch again. Tom Arnold is a jerk. He's from my home state. He was married to Roseanne Barr, who's another jerk. But I had to laugh. I don't know if it was at the beginning, but they had the old Windows logo.
Yeah.
But, I had to laugh.
It was so of its time. I agree.
But it's a fun movie. I mean, I totally forgot that Cameron did this.
Yeah.
This is one of. I mean, he hasn't done so many movies in camera, but this one was one of his. It was a great movie, but it wasn't one of his. This was when he was already established, and this was like he just did it effortlessly. It was just like, there's no problem, I'll do this. I think that was true of all of them.
I think Cameron's very much. Sorry, go ahead. Go ahead, Father.
Oh no, I was just going to say, like you said, Arnold's performance was beautiful. It made you forget that he's a jerk in real life.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, because again, he just had that comic timing. It came together. Problem being, what's your thoughts on this movie? On the beginning of this movie,
I really enjoyed it. Eventually.
Okay.
I think it drags quite a lot in the middle. You've got that whole plot with the
car salesman,
jihadists. Yeah, the castman. That was kind of amusing. I think there's some really good set pieces. There's some really good set pieces in there, but I think they kind of drag on a bit too long, which is my sort of main criticism. But I really like the opening, and I love the end part and the kind of weird seduction of his wife, as she's unwitting in this whole thing, and the way her character develops. And also one of the greatest ever soundtrack songs ever. I mean, I remember buying the single, but I never watched the movie when it came out. But I remember buying the single by Living Colour, which is the Cream cover of "Sunshine for Your Love," and I just love that version of that song.
Okay.
So that brought back memories, musically, sonically.
You know what? I don't even remember that part of the movie at all. I don't remember the song.
So it comes in she's the daughter's listening to the song in her headphones, and then at the very end during the credits you hear it. So.
Oh, okay, fine.
You ended up in Buffy the Vampire Slayer, didn't she? Alicia Duska. Yeah, she played I can't remember Dan. Faith. That's it. Faith. Yeah, she played.
Yeah, I thought she was really good. I mean, she was such a small character. I mean, figuratively and literally. But then at the end, you know, in that not heartbreaking, but that sort of heart-stopping scene when she's on the crane, I mean, that made me feel physically sick because I was like, oh my God. Nail-biting stuff.
By the time I got up there, I was too busy marveling at the incredible special effects that we hadn't seen until that time. You know, it's kind of, I did think they kind of held up. But
it's an audience movie, though, isn't it? It's an audience movie. Without the audience,
exactly.
You know, you'd enjoy it, but with the audience, them going with the jokes and everything, you enjoy it even more. You know.
Yeah.
What's sad about Alicia Duska as well too is the allegations that had happened on the set of this as well too, particularly with the stunt supervisor, and it's it's really,
I forgot about that.
Yeah, it's really sad then, like, because she came forward then a number of years ago and said what had happened, and like everybody involved with the production was like, sorry for your abuse. I think we'll just move on. And it's just, you know, they're the same people like Jamie Lee Curtis and the likes of Tom Arnold that cry every time about Me Too and all of this stuff, and they're the very ones that were like, oops, sorry about that, and those people didn't see anything. It's crazy.
Right.
They do what every other Hollywood celebrity does. They keep their mouth shut, they're afraid to lose their career. But then, as you said yourself, years later now, they've become advocates of Me Too. Sure, even Jamie Lee Curtis has used the Halloween franchise to get that across. But she's a hypocrite, just like the rest of them. And they'll always be hypocrites. Now they're all coming out as non-binary or gender fucking neutral.
Yeah, I know.
I don't think Arnie has it. I don't think Arnie has it, but I think I've forgotten how Arnie's used to be really, really quite dishy. Actually, I thought
he's brilliant in this movie. This is one of his best movies, in my opinion, bar The Terminator. This is brilliant.
I think it's one of the
showed his personality a bit more.
Range in it. I mean, this movie is just so made for him. But I think he really does show. Can you think a movie has more of a range in this? I'm trying to think what else he's done.
Twins.
Total Recall, maybe.
Brilliant in Twins, yeah. And what's that other one?
Total Recall does push him a lot farther than this, I think. Yeah.
He plays the school teacher on that Kindergarten Cop.
It's a nice film.
That's a kind of fun film. So anyway, so then they do this incredible action scene. Oh, did we get to everybody? Oh, Dan, I'm sorry, I cut you off.
No, it's quite all right. Well, it's my turn. Well, yes, generally speaking, I think.
Wait, one second before we do you. No, we did hear from you, right? I forgot where we left off.
Sorry. Well, the start of this movie, look, everybody's even has already said it. I mean, look, I love this movie from start to finish, so I don't have anything bad to say about it except for your woman. She does annoy me, and I'm glad she does die in the end. And I actually am not surprised that her career didn't take off after this, because she's even cringy in this movie. She's the worst part of this movie for me, actually.
Look, for me, she moved in like.
Yeah, I used to like her because she's got a pretty face. If you look at her acting talent, she doesn't have any.
But
what about the gag with the dogs? I thought that was really clever. Remember the gag with the dogs? The dogs are running towards him, and they jump, and he slams their heads together.
Oh, that's so good.
And he's like, all that stuff. He's
this movie starts. Look, the start of this movie starts off at kind of breakneck pace, doesn't it? And then, like, it sets it up for the rest of the movie. But the best person in this movie is your man. What's his face? That died only recently. He was
Charlton Heston. Or Bill Paxton.
Yeah, Bill Paxton is the best part of this whole movie. I love his character in this movie. It's brilliant, man.
I tell you, the other movie is the best part of, not quite as good as this movie, Thunderbirds. Best part of
Thunderbirds.
I'll tell you another weak character I thought in this really was the main protagonist. I think it was like a sort of a Middle Eastern Tim McInnery.
never get away.
It doesn't
with
look very
today.
threatening at all.
It's young. What was it Art Malik, wasn't it?
Art Malik, yeah.
Yeah, but he looks like he looks like a Middle Eastern Tim McInnery, like
You're fired.
Blackadder.
Well, everything about this movie was very like caricatured and like comic book, I would say. But yeah, I think what makes this interesting is where they go to. Wait, we haven't got to Dan yet. Dan, what do you think about
You're out of practice, Rabbi.
Well, yeah, we've sort of covered most of the points, really, but let's sort of sum it all up a little bit. I'm aware that I repeat myself a lot. Sometimes I put it down to my age, but sometimes it's because I've got a point. Problem being, has already mentioned it there, and I say this most weeks, but here I think it's even more important. This film has a pacing problem. It has a real pacing problem.
I'm on him.
It's way too long.
Fortunately, it is so nicely written and so beautifully played for the most part, and it is so pretty. You don't really notice until it's been slowing down for quite a while. And the reason why I'm going to issue a disclaimer with that, whereas usually I sort of let fly a little bit when I say that about films, is that this film and any version that is presently available to watch has been subject to some cuts. And the cut version of this has been the only one available for so long, I can't remember what they cut and why. I did see this at the cinema. In fact, I saw it twice. I liked it that much. But yeah, this is a cut version. I'm sure somebody in the chat will know the story. But yes, the state that it's in now, yeah, I do think it's uneven. James Cameron, he's certainly made bigger films before and since. This is probably, apart from the Piranha 2 thing, this is probably his worst film. But when you're talking about
worse than the Abyss.
Oh yeah,
I like
but the thing is, when you're talking about a director like Cameron, who I think generally makes exemplary movies, that's no bad thing. Something's got to come last. But this is him having the most fun I think he's probably ever had, and I include Titanic in that. I think he's having absolute blast, and it really, really shows. It's a very warm film. It's coated in love. It looks sensational. The colours are just incredible on this. And it does look very, very 90s, and the contrasts sort of right up because it is kind of a cartoon, and it's a bit of it starts off as a sort of Bond homage, but I don't think it stays there for very long. I think it goes much more into the realms.
No, it goes into a different direction very quickly.
Yeah, I think it goes Man from U.N.C.L.E., and I think it goes to all sorts of places. Schwarzenegger is good. He's as good in this as he was ever going to be. I think he is. I think he's the weak link. I think he does what Schwarzenegger does well enough. He is Arnie. We never really believe that he's the actual character, but it's sort of okay because somebody's got to be the one that kicks some ass. Yes, but back to the film itself. I think this film's aged really, really well. The effects, because the effects, let's be honest, with Cameron movies, it's the direction and the effects that they're known for, and all of his films really. I mean, Terminator 2 still looks pretty fantastic, and that's a good 3 or 4 years older than this, so that's good news. But yes, what I'm about to say though is going to sound pretty woke, but for me, every time Jamie Lee Curtis is off screen, this film really drops, and I lose interest a little. I think she's incredible in this movie. She's absolutely, you can't take your eyes off her, and I don't mean in that one
it's
scene.
Probably her best movie. Now I think about it, I can't think of a movie she's better.
She's brilliant.
Fish Called Wanda.
Yeah,
she's great.
That's a good argument. I can't argue there.
But obviously, that's pretty much a screwball comedy, and she gets to play the girl. Now, you could say she gets to play the wife in this, but yeah, I think she's absolutely brilliant. She should definitely
play like 2 or 3 roles basically in this.
Yes, but I suppose so.
In different places,
and that's why I get bored whenever she's not on screen, really. And when she's absent, because we get 2 conclusions as well. This suffers a little bit from Peter Jackson syndrome. We get 2 final acts, and one she's involved with, and one she's not. And I just think it doesn't really and I don't think this is necessarily a modern sensibility. I think this is just probably me being a bit older and having seen more movies. And yeah, I think it's all, and because of that, it's not as tangible as it should be. And we never see the daughter get kidnapped either, which I think is real misbeat.
Oh, right.
That's a real dropped bollock in a film like this, because that's when the stakes really go up.
And there's another cut of this movie. Oh no, there's
was.
But Yeah, has it ever been seen by anyone? Because
It was the original one. It's the original one that went round the cinemas. It came out on. I think it came out on VHS like that in an uncut form, but it was unavailable. They held back. There was no DVD of this for a really long time, and when it came out, it was bare bones and cut. And I did know the story. I can't think why this. But my final sort of summary thing is that I feel that this. I'd forgotten that it was based on another movie. Ian's right, and I do feel that this, by the end of it, feels like. And I'll save that for the end. I'll save that. Well, I'll hold something back. But yeah, I really enjoy this movie.
Is the extended cut better than the cut that we've gotten though? That's what I want to ask you.
It's not really an extended cut. That is the actual movie. It's just that we're seeing an edited cut. So it's not like it's an unseen version. It's just like I say. I just can't remember why they cut it.
I'm pretty sure this version is the full version.
I can't imagine this being much longer. To be honest, I think it's too long as it is.
This film is the full version. The one I saw is the full version.
I'd be surprised if it is, but it's never been commercially available. It's never.
How long is the movie for you? The version that you watched, how long did it last?
Myself?
Yeah.
It was 2 hours and 15 minutes.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm just looking it up now on IMDb. There's alternate versions. Here, I'll read it out for you.
This one's 2 hours and 20.
The UK cinema version was cut by 1 second to remove an ear clap, and the VHS version received a further 8 seconds of cuts. The video sleeve actually carried notes. This film has been edited for censorship purposes. And that's interesting. These cuts included the removal of a headbutt, the reduction of impacts to the face, with a hand dryer, a reduction of impacts. Okay, basically violence. It looks like it just turned out.
Yeah. So it doesn't sound like it was that much.
Did your version have
it goes on. The original 2001 DVD release issued by Universal was an uncut version, and it was taken from the Australian DVD and wrongly featured the fully uncut print. It was recalled shortly thereafter and placed in 2003 with a Columbia release, which features the same cuts but edited in a much more obvious choppy fashion, using repeated slowed down footage in an attempt to maintain a consistent runtime.
I noticed. I've definitely got that version. I've definitely got the cut version because it's my DVD. In fact, it's that 2003 version. I've definitely got, and I remember that now. I remember it being recalled, and because I've always had a big DVD collection. I was right from the moment they came out, but yeah, this was the one that eventually came out. And it is just no features, and that's strange for Cameron too, isn't it?
Yeah. So, anyways, listen, I want to talk about the pacing, and it goes quite well into this when the movie finishes this opening sequence. Because I hear what you're saying about the pacing, but I think it's really quite clever because essentially we get two seamless movies in one, and you don't really realize you move from one movie to the other until the second movie kind of starts to drag a bit and get a bit boring.
Well, the problem is, Rabbi, we don't see the villain. We don't see the villain. This is what I mean. We don't see that villain for such a long time. We forget that he's even there.
Right.
That is a big mistake.
It's really disjointed. It is kind of like it's almost as if it was a movie and a sequel in one film.
Right, exactly. That's what I mean. It seems to be like two movies in one, which I kind of enjoy because, like, I feel like watching this now. I feel like watching that. I get two good eye movies in one go.
Yeah, this is a very easy. It's a very comfortable, very easy watch.
I think you guys forget that James Cameron makes films for an audience. Now, I don't think the pacing's too bad in this film. It's he makes films for the cinema. It's obvious that's what he does, and when you watch this on TV or you watch it at home on DVD, it's a completely different experience. Everybody knows that Cameron makes films for the theater, as the Americans would say. We'd say cinema, Americans say theater. And this film is definitely made for the theater and for a gathering of people to watch. That's why it works so well.
It's not made to rewatch and rewatch.
That's right.
It's an experience. The reason why I think, I because I was rendering on my desktop, so I couldn't watch it on there for fear of crashing the damn thing. But I watched it on my iPad, and it's kind of like not really built for that. I totally understand where you're coming from. I totally agree. And it is something where you would go to the cinema, like you said, Ian, like people cheering at all the fight scenes and the set pieces.
The one thing I've noticed when I, obviously as a cinema goer, is that I enjoy films more when it's a packed house. And it's a really good film, and you're with the audience.
Yeah, I missed that.
Yeah. So, like I give you an example. When I saw Three Eyes Only, the first time I saw Three Eyes Only, the Bond film, I loved it to bits because the audience was cheering and had such a great time within that space. And then when I saw it at home, I thought it was okay. Do you know what I mean? So it's an experience. Cameron always makes films for the audience, for a gathering of people, and same thing with Spielberg, same thing with all of them. So.
Ian, I don't think anybody ever said of a James Cameron film, you know what? I think I'll wait for that one to go to video.
Well, you know what? The next film he's making, I'm going to wait till it goes to video. Because
I'm a little bit different. I like to watch movies an awful lot of times at home because I find that the general audience now, when you go to theaters, are so disrespectful that it takes away the behavior of people. It takes away from the experience itself. I mean, I've gone to countless movies and it just takes you out. So I think a Cameron movie, I do think, for example, when I went to see Avatar, and particularly in 3D, I think everybody understood it was a monumental event. But I remember going to see Black Panther. That was another supposed to be a monumental event. And there was a person in the cinema with a screaming child for the entirety of the film, which totally took me out of it.
The audiences have changed. I mean, society has changed. I think because we do live in such a deeply narcissistic age with, the age of social media. And I think everyone's so self-obsessed and doesn't really think about anyone else.
I've been in theaters when people have been on mobile phones, actually having conversations. Conversations while the movie's playing. I heard one time when I stood up and I was like, "Who was saying that?" And the person turned with their phone to their ear and they looked at me and I was like, "Get off the phone."
I saw a fight in the cinema once. I saw a fight in the cinema once where somebody was fighting because somebody was on the phone. A literal fight. So
This is what I do. If I hear anybody talking or on the phone, this is what I do. I tap them on the shoulder and say, if you don't take your phone out of your hand and stop talking, I'm going to shove it up your ass. Cinema one time to go, I think it was to see Star Trek 2009, the new JJ movie, right? Literally in there, and the first showing, there was like about 15 people bloody talking. I actually stood up in the middle of the cinema and I said, could you please be quiet? We're trying to watch the movie. And then everybody behind me starts clapping me and I'm like, thank you.
Most people don't want to get involved.
As well.
And that's why I went back in to watch it a second time, because of stupid people. Yeah. You go to the cinema, you go there to watch the movie, turn off your mobile phone, eat your fucking snacks and enjoy the movie. If you don't enjoy it, put the heck out and let the rest of us that do enjoy it, enjoy it.
Yeah. Same with the Lord of the Rings. Same with the Lord of the Rings. Like, we had re-showings here of the extended editions, and they were fantastic to watch. But again, like through I think it was the second one when we went to see it, there is a little bit of a lull in that second movie. But there was someone on the phone who was like, "Mate, you would want to either leave here, or I'm going to make you leave if you don't," because I'm not sitting here looking at this.
I will tell you, Irish cinemas are gas, because when you say that to a person, it's not like in America or anywhere else where they probably sit down without a fight. You know, with Irish people, it's different. It's like, who the hell do you think you're talking about?
There's usually a back and forth.
I love Irish cinemas, man, because, like, you know, you always get one or two assholes, and I just love giving out to people when I'm watching the movie.
I love giving out, not anyway.
It's $9.70. Well, it was $9.70 here for a cinema ticket. I think it's gone up to nearly €12.
It's €12. Yeah.
So if I go to watch a film, right, and I'm paying €12, right, and then I've got me popcorn and all these snacks that cost me about 30 quid on top of that, I'm sorry, people better shut it up so I can watch it.
And people think you're rude for asking that as well, too. That's the worst part. You think you're the rude person.
Yeah. Well, let me ask you. In Israel, they always have these like little adverts with like real people from the movies in it, telling them not to talk on the phone during the movie.
Yeah, they do. Yeah, they do have it. Yeah.
Well, Listen, in Ireland, we do the exact opposite of what people tell us to do. If you tell us not to do that, you go, here we'll go. I will, yeah, and it means I won't do it.
It's really strange how how it's changed, because I remember when I was a kid, when I went to the cinema, I could walk in halfway through a movie and sit there the whole day, watch the movie over and over again, and nobody had any respect for the film. They enjoyed it, but they didn't have respect. And then it changed to this, which is what I really love, is that the cinemas are packed. Nobody spoke. There was no such thing as Facebook. Everybody just watched the film, laughed, had a great time, and went home. Yeah. But now it's completely different now.
I know. I can't stand it when somebody's on their phone, not talking but looking on it, and it's so freaking bright.
Yes.
I'm like, really? You can't turn your light down on your phone.
My favorite.
Well, they put their feet up on the back of your chair, and it's just like, you know, oh my God.
My favorite is when you have idiots watching. For example, you go onto YouTube and you look at audience reactions to Endgame, and they're all standing up and clapping and cheering. Now, if I was in that cinema, I'd be like, shut the hell up and watch the movie. I don't want you all screaming and clapping, you morons. Iron Man is dead. Get over it.
I'd enjoy screaming and clapping. No, fine. Let's get back to True Lies, because
hear what I'm screaming through the whole fucking thing. Like, I hate modern cinema goers. They need to shut up. I'm there.
No, it's not a problem. Modern cinemas are basically closing down. They're over.
I say bring back the cinemas. You know, bring the ushers back. You know, when people start talking, the usher goes, shh.
Oh, you like that. Yeah. Anyway, let's talk about this movie, because we go on a completely 90 degree angle turn when we take this like super spy and we put him into this very domesticated husband life, and we're basically there for the next hour and a half. I'm saying this is another movie in the movie, and you know what I really love about this? It's just so sweet and sentimental. You know, it's like we love each other.
That's not true about him, about the domestic life being 20 minutes. It wasn't 20 minutes at all. Not at all. It goes from there. It goes from there to Trilby, which is Charlton Heston's, where they're getting briefed. So it's not boring. It goes from there for a little bit to the mission briefing.
By the way, there's one thing which I love when they're going into their like spy office. You know, when they go through the screening or the thing that sees them as skeletons, and then you got like the woman there who obviously knows, and like puts a hand on a gun underneath the table, right? And they go, and he's like, "Hi, Doris," and they clearly know each other, and she's ready to shoot him. I just love all that crazy spy stuff. Again, that's the thing. They pepper enough of the spy stuff through the domestic thing to basically make it work up until that bit. I think it really. They get caught up in that, is she having an affair thing for about 10, 15 minutes too long, I think. But what do you guys think?
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't think this film suffers from pacing, maybe a little, not as much to spoil the movie. I do like the tributes to his old films, like the guy that he has a fight with in the toilet is dressed like the Terminator from the first movie. Have you not noticed that?
I didn't even notice.
Yeah, he wears the same green jacket.
The reason why all that seems uneven is because they bring that to the forefront too late into the run of the film, and so you think you're watching. They actually start this film two or three times with slightly different tones, running different stories. One plot line disappears almost completely, the terrorist plot. It's a pretty thin plot. It's a pretty thin bad guy, but he does disappear, and I think that's indefensible, to be honest, with any professional.
And it's replaced by the what you call it, the affair thing, isn't it?
And I like this film, but I really enjoy it.
I don't think it disappears completely, because you do have that incredible chase scene that goes through the middle of the domestic part, right?
Yeah,
and that is an incredible. Again, that's where he learned to ride a horse on. That is just an incredible chase.
I zoned out at that point
because there's so. I think because there's so little dialogue and there's so little plot. You know that it just feels very slight. to me, and I just think the whole thing could be tighter.
I think the film is very simple. It has two storylines. It has domestic storyline and it has the terrorist storyline, and they both dovetail for the climax. So basically, it's not one story taking over another. They're both flowing at the same space. So I don't think it suffers from that. Yes, I got to admit, it does kind of slow down when they capture Bill Paxman and they're talking to his wife, and she does that dance, or it slows down, but then it picks up again when she gets kidnapped by Out Malik, and then it just keeps going until the Harry jump jet scene. So I didn't really think it slowed down that much. And also this film is so simple. It's a simple action movie. It doesn't try to be anything else but a simple action movie.
What? I'm going to disagree with you there. I think it does try to be more than an action movie, because again, you got this like weird, very domesticated, like lifestyle that in the middle of an action movie is that juxtaposition that makes it
That's what makes it work, doesn't it? Because you have those two stories.
I like that. I think I agree with you completely.
No, but what I'm saying is that both stories are very simple. They didn't really go into depth with both things. You know what I mean? So they're and it's a very simple movie. It's an action movie. Remember the 80s. They loved simple action films. Like look at Commando, look at Terminator. They're all they're not. You don't need to be a rocket scientist to understand the plots of these movies. And this is the thing that was happening in those days. So, you just got to go with the flow.
I think it's as much to do with,
wasn't it? 94.
94. Yeah, I think it's as much to do with the fact that James Cameron was an excessive filmmaker, but even by this point, he'd got free reign to let his films run for as long as he wanted to tell the story that he wanted. I think he wanted to tell the ultimate action, comedy, romance movie, and with all of those things going at the same time. And it's partly successful. He had a bloody good go at it, but I just don't think it's with a heavy heart to say this, because I do really love this movie. I just don't think it's as good as he wants it to be.
Can you say that it is successful? Because I think that's what it intended to be. It intended to be a really fun, audience pleasing.
Okay, let's clarify. If it was as successful as James Cameron wanted it to be, this film wouldn't be as forgotten as it is.
That's a fair.
Well, the thing is, it's not forgotten.
I think it is.
No, I've never forgotten True Lies. Ever since I saw it in the cinema, I loved it.
No, I'm talking generally speaking.
Well, it's not a film that Cameron's known for. Definitely not.
I don't think this movie
wanted to make a sequel, didn't he? But he couldn't do it because of Arnie's. I think Arnie's schedule.
I think he became popular at the time, wasn't it? That kind of put.
To
that. Because he done for years of a second movie, and even after he finished being governor, they were even still talking about True Lies too.
They were.
They can still do it. I mean, I think that would be great.
No, it would look ridiculous. It's as ridiculous as expecting, another Indiana Jones movie. I think because it's past the point of believability at this stage.
I think if James Cameron would write it, and they had them as these like spy grandparents.
Yeah, I'd watch them.
Yes, it should be great to be like a big spy in the movie now. She could really carry it off.
No, I think leave it as is.
I don't think Lies 2 would work now. It's too late. They should have done 4 years of the first one. To be honest, 4 or 5 years after the first one. It's too late for True Lies 2. It wouldn't work now. Because
what's that movie they did? It was like a sequel. It's like 20 years later. Trainspotting. I never saw it. How was that?
Never watched it.
Exactly.
I only watched this first one. I only watched it. I never watched it.
Trainspotting's iconic. You can't follow it up with Trainspotting 2. It's as simple as that. There's certain movies where you just can't follow them up. They're one-off. This is a one-off.
E.T.
Well, there wasn't supposed to be an E.T. too. That one was that there was E.T. was going to come back and eat the kids. It's actually
deconstruction. It was a deconstruction of the hero. It
was going to be based, and E.T. was going to be evil in this one. The whole he tricked them in the first movie, and then in the second movie, it's actually about it, to laugh about.
Was it written by Chris Chibnall by any chance?
Yeah, probably.
there was E.T. I always wanted a sequel to E.T.
No,
I'm glad they didn't though.
Yeah, so am I.
Well, I was a kid at the time, and I loved, I had everything E.T. I was an E.T. fan, so for me, an E.T. 2 back in the day would have worked.
Oh yeah, I had a few ET toys too.
No, unfortunately, the only place you could see that at the ET2 was, I think they did a Universal ride with it. That was pretty good.
Wow.
And that's basically where you saw it. It's like, what was it? Terminator 3 was forget the movie, the Universal ride that James Cameron did was like it was a 3D show. Have you ever seen that?
Yeah, that one. Yeah, the 4D show was really good.
Just to let you guys know, they did do a sequel to E.T., but it was an advert where E.T. came back to visit Elliot, and Elliot had his own family. If you look it up on YouTube, it's easy to find.
He only did it recently.
Yeah, recently. Yeah,
so many memories, and everybody loved it. You're right, Ian. It was brilliant. It was. It made me feel like a kid again. It was so well done. Now, if they were to do a second movie, you bring Elliot back with his family the way they did it in the ads, and then expand on that, and I think it could work. But in the current climate that we're in, they probably gender swap ET.
Well, listen, I mean, I think we'll know, not hopefully, who knows, maybe by January we'll be in a different universe where people won't feel the need to like gender swap everything, or maybe it'll be pushed into overdrive. I don't know.
Get worse.
Did they have Drew Barrymore in the commercial too?
No.
Doing smack off the kitchen table.
Was it Steven Spielberg had the art department digitally put clothes on her when she did?
No.
Go ahead.
Cover up. What's wrong with you?
Oh dear. Sorry, Dad. What are you saying?
Yeah, guys, I've just had some breaking news. I don't know if anybody's interested in any of this, but breaking news about Doctor Who, very quickly.
Go on in.
Doctor Who has returned to production on Series 13. The showrunner confirms the series has been reduced to 8 episodes for Season 13, and it is to air in autumn 2021. There we go.
So I was right.
There you go. Where are you reading that? In Radio Times?
It's just breaking. I think it would probably be in Doctor Who magazine, which comes out tomorrow. But subscribers get that today. So I suspect a lot of people have probably read that this afternoon. But it's now appearing all over Twitter and things like that.
Who cares?
Eight episodes. Well, the only reason I care is because it's like Noel said. It's the only reason I really care is because I've been saying they would have to cut this run for about a year now, and been shot.
Can they cut
shot
it by
down
8 more episodes?
and been shot down by SJWs constantly ever since.
Can they cut it by 8 more episodes?
You are right all along. Sorry, Dave. I just want to say this. We did say there was going to be a shorter series, and I even actually broke 2 days ago, actually on my channel, that Doctor Who Series 13 will return this time next year, and it looks like that as well. So everything that I've been saying on my channel, and Dan has been saying, and others have been saying, has been absolutely spot on. Spot on. Well done, Dan.
So there's
who cares?
Listen, I don't want to get anybody.
I don't care because I'll tell you
more hours of this.
3 months about this. That's why I care, because I've been bullied.
I don't care about the show at all
the way through, because apparently I'm lying all the time and I'm telling lies and I'm making shit up. Well, I've been proven right again. How many times do I have to be proven right before idiots on the other side get that I'm not making this shit up?
Yeah, well, that's good for you.
I am excited to see what they're going to do in that season, if they're going to do all the rumors that you dropped on your channel. That's gonna, listen, for them to, this is the best case scenario for me. They're going to make and air more Chris Chibnall Doctor Who. This is just bringing me subscribers. I am. But by the way, hit the subscribe button, everybody. Thank you very much.
Opportunist.
I mean, I wish it was 6 episodes instead of 8 episodes, but only 8 episodes I gotta watch this year.
I'm gonna rely on you guys to see what happens, because I'm not watching that show.
I'm not watching it.
Sorry for distracting everything. Let's get back to Arnie.
Come to my channel, watch the reviews. Give it a like, give it another view. I will watch it so you don't have to. That's what happens.
Thank you, and you, Dan. Thank you.
I will take the hit for you guys.
Sadist.
Fine.
Chibnall's a sadist.
About the finale of the final reel, which is action upon action. We have incredible. Well, no, first we have the whole they're captured, he's nearly tortured. I just thought that was all very sweet, the interaction between Arnold Schwarzenegger and Jamie Lee Curtis.
I love her. I love that realization, and she's processing this like after all that she's suddenly gone through, and the whole world's changed. She just pumps him.
What's that line?
From there
that line
on,
is,
like,
did you kill people? What's that line? Did you kill people? Yes, I did, but they were all bad.
They're all bad.
The face was a picture.
Yeah.
Again, I just really feel this movie is they balance the comedy and the action and the romance and the emotion and I think they just balance it all very well. Yeah, I hear it is the argument is disjointed. For me, it was fine. I really, really enjoyed it.
And there's more chemistry there between Arnie and Thingy. Jamie Lee Curtis.
You know what? My sister said when this is the moment she fancied Arnold Schwarzenegger. It was that wink he gives her before he flies off on the Harriet jump jet. And she thought he's so handsome when he winks to her.
Yeah,
I don't get it, but hey, such is life. So there you go.
No, I think he looks good in this movie. Actually, I have to say, I'm not a massive Arnie fan, but this is like pretty solid guy.
Totally better. So we have this incredible sequence, the Harrier jump jet, his daughter. You are right that we don't feel enough jeopardy for the daughter. Although when they send in over there the Arab computer hacker guys, they send him in with the camera crew. So,
that was a good scene, wasn't it?
Sky when that happened. That was fun.
I like the scene. He's really fast. He pulls that gun out of that camera and he shoots them all.
Yeah.
I thought, wow, that was really good.
We've totally glossed over the nuke bit, by the way.
We do this every week, pal.
Sorry, go ahead.
I said you do this every week. The bleeding movie, mate. You don't know how this all lined up. So tell them how it all came about.
Well, this movie is like 20 years old. We've all seen it. We all know what happened. It was like we're talking about. Like,
I don't know if I've actually ever seen it. To be honest, it's one of those movies that passed me by. Yeah.
I tell you the ending, right? What really spoiled the ending for me as a filmmaker was they put the big size Harrier jump jet on top of a skyscraper. So when you had shots of her holding on, you could see the background and it's real. The background's real. But when they had close-ups, they had the back projection shots, which kind of really took me out of it slightly. But apart from that action sequence was absolutely fantastic.
I think it's one of the best action sequences I've ever seen in a movie. I was on my edge of my seat throughout the whole thing. I thought this was beautifully choreographed. The idea was so utterly bonkers.
Yeah.
But it was so engrossing, and it was nail biting all the way. I mean, it still stands up solidly today, I'd say. And
the bridge scene is quite tense.
The bridge scene, my God, that was the best, one of the best scenes in the movie. It was just so brilliantly done.
I was going to say, you're talking about the nuclear explosion. I really love that you got the Arnold Schwarzenegger, Jamie Lee Curtis big kiss with that behind them.
Yeah, like, that was epic.
That was the end of that arc for those characters. As they were like, at that point, that's where they reached at the end of the movie.
That was really Jamie Lee Curtis hanging off the helicopter. That was really her. She did that for real, apparently. Oh, really? So yeah, man. Brave her.
By the way, I love the scene in the private jet when he's like, "This is just a stupid hooker." It's not a hooker. How I have this? And she has the broke, the little the picture.
Well, the other thing that came to mind towards the end is when the reporters are what key? It's like, why give that away?
Yeah. That's there. Another thing that really bothered me as well when Aunt Malik slapped up Tina. Remember that scene where she was in?
Oh yeah,
you never get that today.
I was a bit taken aback by that. I was like, wow.
Yeah, I was going to say this movie. I mean, if it was ever going to be remade, you know that Arnie would be played by a woman.
Yeah. You would
essentially be Mr. and Mrs. Smith, though, wouldn't it? Really, though. Like,
I was going to say as well. It reminded me of that, but I think this is way superior to that. That was fun in a kind of silly way, but I think this was definitely the precursor to that. But I think it was far more entertaining, and the set pieces were just astounding. Really,
they were perfect. So
You're fired.
I tell you what. So let's start at the bottom of the panel. We'll go through and do our wrap up, a summary of it. Dan, let's start with you because we ended with you on the
yeah. Yes, I mean, I think I've said pretty much all there is to say, really. I mean, the thing with Eliza Dushku, I've always liked her. I thought she was brilliant in Buffy. She's great in this. I think she's about 14, 15 years old. And that's why I just think it's a shame we don't spend a little bit more time with them. We get to like her, what little we do see. So when she's put in the line of fire like that, I think it's great. And that final reel is still spectacular. I think when Jamie Lee Curtis disappears from the action, I think it's a great pity. Like I say, for me, this is her film. I think she deserved top billing. She deserved to be on that poster right next to him. I think when she's not in the frame, it looks like, even with Cameron's, the way that he frames and the way that he pushes things along, I think without her, it looks like half a dozen other Arnie films. You could quite easily confuse them with others. I think that, but I think it's a good film. It's, I certainly wouldn't slag it off. Really enjoyed watching it again. It's aged very well, as I said before, and yet in recent years, I'm reminded of the fact that every now and again, it's happened 3 times now. One TV network or another, or one streaming platform or another, takes out the options to turn this into a TV show, and sometimes that surprises me. But having watched this, it did kind of feel like the most expensive TV pilot you've ever seen.
Well, yeah.
And when they do get together as Doris and Boris at the end, you think, yeah, I could watch this show. I'd watch this every week. That's fine. Yes. So I think it's sort of
was it Ethan Burkham brings a comparison between this and Mr. and Mrs. Smith, which I do hear that. I definitely hear that.
But yeah, I'd recommend anybody watch this, particularly if you've never seen it before, because it's it's a little cracker or big cracker, little big cracker.
Yeah. Noel, what's your thoughts?
Love the movie, 10 out of 10. Listen, this is just a fun movie. I can overlook some of the pacing because, Jamie Lee Curtis, I do agree with Dan. When she's not in this movie, it does suffer a little bit because she is a great actress, let's be honest. I just don't like her lately because of all the crap she's coming out with, but I can put back to it. And as an actress, I've always found her a great actress. I thought the daughter was kind of pointless, though, to be quite honest with you. I mean, that was just.
I think she was supposed to be more than she was, right? Yeah.
But yeah, I really enjoyed this movie. I even loved the end. It kind of finishes like the way it started with the tango, with them on the dance floor.
Yes.
And then your man, what's his face, the one that's an asshole in real life but was good in this movie. Tom Arnold. Like, it's funny when he's trying to stop them from dancing and stuff, and then it ends. Yeah, I tell you, I love this movie. I love it. I love any Arnold movie, to be quite honest with you. They rate kind of high for me. I love Kindergarten Cop and all those other stupid little movies he did, like Twins. And, even that one where he had the baby. What was the one where he was pregnant? What was the one, Dan, where he was pregnant? Do you remember Arnold?
Junior.
Junior. With Danny DeVito, another great movie. Look, I just love his movies, so he'll always rate high for me. And I thought
he's a very charismatic guy.
Gotta ask, Noel, have you seen Hercules in New York?
No, I actually haven't seen it.
That's his first movie.
Officially, he was called Arnold Strong, though, in that film.
I did see.
And that wasn't his voice.
Barbarian. All right, he was in Conan the Barbarian, wasn't he? The original one. Yes, on Conan the Destroyer. Yeah, I love those 2 movies. Yeah. I mean, it's Arnold. He gives you what he gives you, and it's good enough for me, to be honest. So yeah, this gets a 10.
Okay, thoroughly enjoying. Problem being, what's your thoughts?
Yeah, I agree very much with what Dan said. For me, there's definitely a pacing issue. I did kind of lose. I kind of glazed over a bit in the first, second quarter of the movie, but it really sort of picked up. The action set pieces and the bits where Jamie Lee Curtis on screen is absolutely spellbinding. Her characterization of the wife going through that development was such a joy to watch, and I think she does comedy so brilliantly as well, but physically and with delivery of lines. The set pieces were absolutely incredible. I've never seen anything quite like it, and it still blows my mind from, you know, being a 90s movie to today, still standing up as it does. It's amazing. That bridge sequence and the Harrier jump jet sequence, mind-blowing stuff. Really good. And the choreography with the wife, where Jamie Lee Curtis drops that machine gun down the
that was brilliant. That was really good.
I love it. I think the weakest thing is the daughter. I'd like to see more of her transitioning from that spoilt brat to being quite definitely Arnie's daughter.
Movie, because I remember she was like 13, 14 in this, and I knew she was like super hot a few years later. So I was going to say, am I going to see her when she's like young and go and like trigger the thought of her when she's like you know, older and like, you know, attractive, and be turned on by her then? And thank God I wasn't. So there you go.
Well, Twitter will be happy. For the once. I think that sequence where she's on the crane with Middle Eastern Tim McInnery was gripping stuff, and I thought she did brilliantly in that. Actually, my heart was in my mouth when she had to jump onto the jet. My God, that was something else. So hats off to that. But again, the villain was quite a non-entity for me, and I think he could have been better cast. Actually, I think he wasn't quite right. There's some nice bits, but as well, that was a real good bonus. Definitely works with an eye patch, and yeah, I think the last scene really, you know, the whole thing was just epic, but the tango at the end was great as well, even though if you look at his feet, he's not doing much. I'd like to see a TV spin-off. Like, that would be quite good, because I think you've got a great idea there, you know, the kind of
I think the last one, to be quite honest with you, but again, one of those things that never came to fruition.
Yeah, but I think it could be picked up and developed into something, you know, the family of spies, you know, in that universe.
It's really what it turned into, right? Because that's what they were by the
I love the bit at the end when she pulls that lipstick out and she's got that guy who was trying to basically rape her, and it was just a lipstick, and you know he thought it was a gun and he pissed himself again. That was great. Yeah, I thought that was good.
So great. All right, Father Miller, what's your thoughts?
Well, I liked the terrorists. I thought they were fun. I don't think they could be portrayed like that today.
I think the ensemble. You know, the whole.
Well, that was the thing I was just going to say. When they're,
especially when the rocket launcher in the van goes off and he takes the guy out.
When they're hanging over the bridge and the duck or whatever the bird lands on, I mean, they're just rejoicing before that happened.
Yeah, that was great.
This was a fun movie. I mean, like you said, it's been ages since I've seen it. It'll probably be ages before I see it again. But
no, there'd be white nationalist terrorists taken up by a lesbian Arnie woman.
Well, led by Joe Biden, but we won't go down that road.
No,
I give it
I'm still saying I think crazy could happen. You know, we're talking about that current situation. I still think something crazy could go down.
We'll see. We'll be fine.
Yeah, whatever. Yeah, okay. Mega Geek, what's your thoughts?
My thoughts is that it's still a great movie after all these years, and I can understand why people thought it kind of lagged. It lagged a bit in the middle, but it's still a great movie. As I said, the only way to really enjoy this film, because Spielberg and Cameron, they don't make films for your living room. They make films for the big screen. So as far as I'm concerned, the only way to enjoy this film fully is to watch it on the big screen. And, you know, Father's right. There's some really wonderful moments on that bridge sequence when they fired the the what is it, the bazooka, and he fires it backwards and blows up.
Yeah,
That was
love
quite
that.
really funny.
wait,
Yeah.
hilarious.
Fantastic moments.
Filming the ransom and the batteries die and the video
the
camera.
batteries die.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's some
Great.
really
That was
good
really
moments
funny.
in this film. The jokes come thick and fast. You
They're
know, when they were
great.
teetering on the edge, and that bird came on top, and then they were done for. All that stuff was
And
fantastic.
Jamie Lee Curtis doing the dancing
Yeah.
and falling over us.
Yeah, and what is it? The bit where he grabs her hand and says, "Come on, baby," and he grabs her hand, you know, and he flies off with her and stuff like that. And it's really, it's a movie that's set out to entertain you from start to finish, and you can't
know what? I
fault
did
it.
have a smile on my face for a lot of this. I
Yeah.
really did.
It's a, you know, even the one-liners are so funny.
Oh yeah, you got the
know?
only one line. You're fired.
Yeah, it's great. And you know what? I remember the year after they had a Bond film. I can't remember which Bond film. And I kept saying True Lies was better than the Bond film because it actually made the audience laugh.
It'll
There
be
was a
Goldeneye.
film for the
If it
audience.
was, no, that would be like
It's Not Enough.
What was that? Which one?
Road is
It would
not
be
enough.
like
Well, no, yeah, it's insane. But it doesn't matter because Cameron's a better director than most of the directors that directed James Bond. He
true.
knew how to rile the audience. He knew what points to put where the audience would cheer and laugh and feel sad and all that stuff. And for that, what I'll do is I'll give it an 8 because no movie's perfect, but 8 is pretty high in my.
It's pretty darn good.
Yeah.
Ninja Knight, closing thoughts on this movie before we go into pick next week's movie. What's your closing thoughts?
Yeah, I think ultimately it's a good movie. It's certainly reminiscent of his time, and you know, when you hear the background of what went on behind the scenes, and especially with James Cameron being involved, it's a very interesting movie, and it did kind of launch Arnie's sort of real kind of comedy chops as well too, along with the other movies at the time, and did give him a bit of range. I think it's more of a movie that reminds you of the missed opportunities. For example, like I said, the Cameron Spider-Man with, you know, Arnold Schwarzenegger as Dr. Octopus and Leo as Spider-Man. I've never really liked the Sam Raimi and Tobey Maguire movies, really. So I think that would have been fascinating, and particularly because, you know, Arnold Schwarzenegger.
I can't imagine Leo being Peter Parker, definitely.
Nor could I.
I think it could make a good show for it, but like with him as Dr. Octopus, I always felt I really didn't like Alfred Molina because it did feel like it needed a Germanic actor to be the character rather than someone that was American personally, because I've always grown up with Octavius being German. But yeah, ultimately I think it's a good movie. I think there's some great one-liners in there. Like, I mean, even Tom Arnold has some great ones, like Kids, 10 Seconds of Joy, 30 Years of Misery. That is a great one-liner. And then there's multiple of them, I think, in the line, like you said there, the You're Fired. I think overall I'd give it probably a 6. Like lad said here as well, it's kind of slow in parts and it's a little bit nonsensical. And then you do have to realise then there's some other movies then that take a little bit of the bits from this movie and then make movies of themselves, like Mr. and Mrs. Smith. The Harrier stuff is a little bit reminiscent for Captain America Winter Soldier, small bit I'd say there. So it does, you know, lead to other things in the future, but yeah, I'd give it a 6.
Yeah, that's a pretty fair thing. Ethan says, if you like this, try the 6 Day. The 6 Day has good music too. Fine.
6 Days, brilliant.
Yeah, that's a great movie. That's the clone movie.
Yeah.
Clone you, clone me.
Great movie.
Clone me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Are you ready for the first movie for next week for you guys to choose from?
Oh god, it's Pacific Rim, isn't it?
Pacific Rim. Pacific Rim.
Gravity now.
No Gravity. It's two movies I haven't offered you before.
Brilliant.
And I'll see if you can pick up the theme between them.
Pacific Rim 2. Oh no.
Option number 1.
No, God.
What a great movie.
No, it wasn't.
It was.
Okay. So obviously, if you didn't like that, you might not like option number 2. Option number 2 is this.
No,
Yes,
no,
yeah.
no, no. No, none of them.
Okay, so let's go through it. Ninja Knight, what's your choice? Lock, Stock, or Snatch?
Snatch, absolutely Snatch.
Okay. See, I wasn't sure which way you're going to go with was it Brad Pitt's sort of Irish accent?
Traveller, very different.
Okay. Fine, Mega Geek. What's the lesser of two evils for you?
Yeah, I don't care which one you go for. Both of them, I didn't really like none of these movies at all. I thought they were okay, but it's not worth a second watch, in my opinion. But hey,
I haven't seen this in years. I'm kind of looking forward to it.
Snatch, I guess. Snatch, I guess.
Yeah,
Snatch, okay.
Snatch.
Okay, 3 for Snatch. Father Miller, what's your choice?
I've never seen either one.
Well,
So
you're in for a bit of a treat.
Yeah, I'll be happy with either one, but I'd say probably Lock, Stock, and Barrel.
Okay, it might be a moot point. We'll find out. Problem being,
hey, I've never seen it.
Oh, over stylized Mockney movies. Yay.
Yay. Listen, I'm not putting up the camera. You can back me.
Style over substance. Snatch.
Snatch? Okay, look, Father Miller, all I'm saying is for Lock, Stock to win right now, you need to find some of those Philadelphia ballot counters, right?
You'll get my coffee mug.
You'll get enough votes. Was it enough votes? You'll get enough votes, but we're all going to be dead.
So it's not. Oh, Father, you made him walk away.
Damn.
He's left, he's gone. That's it. It's over.
Father's left the building. You made him walk away, Rabbi.
I'm going to go with Lock, Stock.
2 Lock, Stock. Okay, so it's I think it's we got 4 for Snatch. So 4 for Snatch and 4 it's Snatch. It's Snatch. Snatch is the winner. Look, and again, you should thank me that I didn't make one of them the gentleman. Here, well, I'll say. Let me pull this up so you can see.
Bad things happen in Philadelphia.
Yes, we saw that. We know. Yes.
Excellent.
I like that guy. Oh my god! I like the
very prescient. Very prescient.
Fehr Tenney, and the guy that drew that is the guy that drew my logo.
Cool.
Oh,
I'm actually surprised you didn't pick layer cake, Rabbi.
I was going to. I thought, let's just go for something.
Why didn't you? I would so much have preferred that.
Exactly, yeah.
Okay, one thing. Listen, we'll go through. How many people would rather watch Layer Cake?
No, I'd rather watch Lock, Stock.
Never seen it.
I love Layer Cake, but I'd rather watch Lock, Stock.
Yeah,
I haven't seen it in so long, and I think it's due for a bit of a reappraisal. I think it's due to come out the
right. Well, then, because two people on the panel want to watch Lock, Stock, I'll change my opinion and I'll go with Lock, Stock as well.
No, Layer Cake. Layer Cake.
Because Dan and Father Miller hasn't seen it. But then,
I will be happy with either one.
Okay, fine. You know what? I'm going to vote because I don't normally vote. I'll vote Lock, Stock as well because I think that's
no way, man.
Oh my
I can't
god!
believe
This is the election. Oh my god! This is the election. Recount.
I'll go back.
This is not a democracy.
Noel has just rigged this whole thing.
We're back down to how many votes we have for Lock, Stock? It's 3 versus 3. What do you want me to do?
Coin toss. Always
Layer Cake. There's a good
medium. Does anybody have a coin? I don't have any coins.
I cannot believe that Noel has made this into a draw.
I cannot believe it. You, man.
What?
I'm having words with you.
Democracy, you're allowed to change your mind, and I've changed my mind.
No, you're not.
Right, 1 second. I have a 1 shekel piece. If we come up with the 1, it's Lock, Stock. If we come up with the little, I don't know, flower thing, it's Snatch. Okay, here we go.
Right.
So
Flower.
There we go. Fine. Yeah, I'm just going to hold it up to the camera. I'm not even seeing what it is. Whatever it is, it is. Let's see what we see.
Oh, Jesus.
Let's see.
Flower. There we go. Flower.
Yes. It's Lock, Stock.
It is a big number 1. Yeah.
Arnold strike.
No justice, no peace.
We lost, Dan.
Listen.
I can't believe you. I seriously can't believe you.
It's been
unlike the current president of the United States. It's time to concede. Unlike the president, it's time to concede.
Snatch. We're going with Snatch. What happened?
Listen. Tonight is a big night on YouTube because I think over on Noel's channel there is a discussion of the Mandalorian. What time are you doing that, Noel?
Well, firstly, because of the break in Doctor Who news, we're going to cover that first, but we're live straight after this. So literally, if you want to come over, and whoever wants to join me, that's already on the panel. If you want to come in, because we're going to be talking to Doctor Who.
I'll come over with you for half an hour if you're.
Right. I got to go and get something to eat, but I will.
Along with the Mandalorian, so the next episode. So do you want to join us for the watch along, Rabbi? I know it is a bit late for you, but if we,
I'll dip in. I'll say hello. I'll get a timestamp. I'll catch up when we're.
Right then. That's fair enough. But we won't be starting for a half an hour or so. And you said you'd be away for a half an hour. So you'll be here for the start of it because we're going to talk to Doctor Who news first.
Okie dokie. Sounds good.
Are we on your channel, Noel, or mine?
I'll send you the original. I'm about to send you a link through Messenger now. No.
Lovely.
Yeah, no, I just
the
saw
original
you repost it on the Twitwats.
Yeah.
Are we on
Fine,
your
very
channel
good,
now?
very good. So listen, come back next week.
Oh, wait. Are we on Noel's channel?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, whoever's joining me is coming out. Yeah, you are more than welcome to the whole panel.
I thought it was my channel this week, wasn't it?
No, we were on yours last week, weren't we?
No, I don't think so.
Yeah, we were. Remember, you sent me an invite and I came on.
Did I?
Yeah.
Bye.
I'll play some mine.
Hang on, I'm checking that now.
But if not, look, we will figure it out.
You're right. It was me last week. It was me. Apologies.
Fine. Okay, listen. I'm gonna get time for dinner. I guess I'll just find out.
Thank you, everybody.
You guys are.
Cheers, guys. Join us over on the Tardis Zone. Don't forget, Tardis Zone. Join us there now. We're going to have a bit of a laugh. We're going to talk about the Doctor Who news and I'm going to laugh at all me haters. So you're going to love that. And then we're going to do a bit of fun. We're going to have the Mandalorian as well. And hopefully most of the guys that are here on the panel will join me for that as well. Thank you.
This is the way. Fine. And the end broadcast button. I'm going to say good night to everybody.